Hello everyone and welcome to another unit review, and today we're finally taking a look at her. Well, I say finally, it's been like 24 hours and 24 hours that I have not had a lot of sleep in. But anyway, today we are going to be taking a look at Aerith from Final Fantasy VII, who is now finally in Brave Exvius. So with that being said, let's start the music and let's get talking about her. Aerith is definitely a fan favorite unit. I don't think that there are many people who would disagree with that. Aerith is a unit that I have been waiting for a long time to come to the game, and I'm always a little bit nervous about 5-star base healers, because Alum has shown in the past that they are very interested in keeping 5-star healers very separate from one another. So when Aerith was coming to the game, I should say, and Alum said essentially nothing about her kit, I was more than a little bit nervous. But as it turns out, she is a fantastic healer, and probably the healer I will be leaning on for the most part of, a good long while, and for good reason too. So let's take a look at her animations. You can see the 7-star has the little bit of the earth theme with some like leaves, I guess, floating around her. It's a pretty nice little motif. Classic animations, and of course her limit burst, which we will see a little bit later, but basically it is great gospel. A very famous and incredibly powerful limit burst that didn't turn out exactly what we thought it would be. Ah well. Her victory animation is absolutely adorable. I love it. And of course her downed animation. Oh, sad. Now, let's talk about Aerith's kit and what makes her potentially so strong. And for the point of this video, I'm going to actually be talking a little bit about her in comparison to only one other healer, Santa Rosalia. Up until now, and over the longest time for the last little bit, I've basically been using Santa Rosalia as essentially my main healer. Santa Rosalia has a kit that has some nice debuffing skills in it, as well as she's kind of known as the healer to bring along if you're going to be facing Charm. So Aerith, I thought, would be a good comparison to her, so that's what we're going to be focusing on for this video. But let's get into the juicy stuff. First of all, her TMR. This TMR is a 50% spirit material with 2 limit burst crystals per turn. Generally pretty darn nice, and I have to say, I'm totally okay with it. The 50% spirit, Citra's TMR is one of the only ones that has essentially a higher spirit, but the loss of dark resistance, considering how dark continues to pop up in terms of damage in trials, isn't necessarily the best. So Aerith is just a general strong 50% increase with no downside to it. Would be nice if it had, some high tide instead of limit burst crystals per turn, but we take what we can get. Now, Super TMR, this thing is pretty damn awesome. 60 spirit, 60% spirit accessory with a 50% dark resistance and 5% MP recovery per turn. It also has and powers up a lot of the holy spells, which is pretty cool. Now, honestly, I'm not entirely sure that holy spells are really that great to begin with, but hey, I wouldn't say no to this accessory even for like an instant. 50% dark resistance is pretty damn insane. And that spirit. This is great for magic tanks. It's fantastic for a lot of other units too. Now, Limit Burst maxed out is just a pretty juicy little Limit Burst. AoE Cure All Ailments, AoE Revive with maxed out 100% HP, AoE Recover maxed out 100% HP, AoE Remove all debuffs including Stop and Charm. Unfortunately, no sign of Berserk yet. And an AoE 3-turn auto revive with 100% HP. So for 3 turns, that's pretty damn good. Now, it is a little bit expensive for a limit burst, as you can see. Getting up to the last to its max level 30 decreases the amount of crystals you need, but it is an expensive limit burst. With that being said, its cost is generally the same as Volca and Ayaka, and both of their limit bursts kind of do similar things, so it seems to be fair. Plus the auto revive is just generally nice on this limit burst, considering that the limit burst is essentially a big shiny reset button. Now, Aerith herself has some fantastic stats, more HP than any other healer as for her base. Her MP is pretty damn solid, her defense is really solid too, and her spirit, 216 base, wait, is that right? Yes, it is. Oh. Is higher than some of the other 5-star healers. As a matter of fact, no, I think it's just the highest. So, again, high base stats, even if low passives in her kit, will probably be okay in the long run, because enhancements will eventually come. Yeah, I know, long time out, but bear with me here. Enhancements will eventually come, giving her more passives, so a higher base stat is essentially more valuable in the long run, and I'll talk about that, my feelings more about that with Red 13. But as you can see here, now, when it comes to equipment, her equipment's kind of interesting. She can equip bows. Okay. She can also equip staffs as well as rods. Nothing particularly surprising there. But the one thing she can't equip that some of the other healers can equip is shields. No shields in her kit is kind of a little bit sad, because shields are just kind of a nice thing to put on healers to give them a little elemental protection or anything. But with Aerith here, kind of gonna have to find something different to do with her. So basically dual wielding double staffs, probably your best bet. Seems to be giving me the highest amount of spirit, so there you go. Now, looking in her kit, one of the things this girl does not suffer from that Folka did is the fact that her kit is essentially a lot more complete. We have things such as the holy spells, which are generally nice, but we see auto-raise, or re-raise here. Auto-raise, re-raise, doesn't really matter. Curaja, of course, since all the top-tier healers have it. Full life. But the other nice thing is we see Dispelga, which is right here. Dispelga is essentially kind of just a crucial spell for a lot of trials, since so many trials now are constantly buffing themselves. So if you have the ability to, and you need someone to dispel on a healer is definitely important, and it is something in the past that has kind of hurt me with using Folka, even though I love Folka, you guys. Anyway. Now, moving on to her kit, I want to specifically talk about some abilities in particular, and we can see them listed there. I pulled these directly from Reddit. Thank you, Nazda, for all your formatting and hard work, of course, but this just makes it essentially easier for now until I can find a good way to do this. But speaking of her kit, there's a couple of things that are notable. First of all, she has the general 26 MP, heal HP, as well as remove any status ailments. This is a big thing. This is generally a nice thing if your party gets hit with status ailments. And since Aerith here doesn't have any way to give full status ailment protection to the entire party, even though Awaken Rain could do it, so they'll be best friends, Aerith and Awaken Rain. This will essentially cure all status ailments, and is just a nice ability to have. Now, she has a whole bunch of passives and everything, too. One ability that I have to say is probably going to be a major pain in the ass for Arena is this, which is Seal Evil. Seal Evil in this game is quite a bit nastier. AoE 3-turn minus 60% Spirit debuff, which is, again, nice that she has that Spirit debuff, but it's also a 30% AoE chance of 1-turn stop. You know, Ayaka is annoying in Arena because she's essentially survivable, but Aerith is potentially survivable, able to remove the stop that you put on your enemies, and then Aerith could potentially also just stop your party, which is interesting, to say the least. Aerith could be a new problem in Arena because of this one ability. Now, Aerith also has ways to prevent status debuffs, as well as giving a little bit of an HP barrier. She has, notably, dual white casting. She has also something that Folka was missing, an AoE revive with 100% HP. This always really hurt that, Folka never had that. That was a very big thing that was missing in her kit. She also has a way to give some light resistance, as you can see, 50% light resistance, AoE for 3 turns, and heals, which is generally a nice combination. And speaking of Aerith, Aerith also has a 50% chance to decrease being a target naturally. So that's just great for a healer to have. You don't want your healer attacked. Or at least normally you don't. Some people are weird. Anyway, we have our general Stop Detach, which Ayaka has. Now, Ayaka's basically had the exact same ability at the start, and this was later enhanced to also provide stop resistance, so I'm assuming that the same thing will happen with Aerith eventually down the line. But Aerith is stop immune, so you're not going to have to worry about that. Now, Aerith also has a counter in with her stop immunity, and that has its potential of just giving magic. If she gets attacked by magic, she will potentially counter with putting some magic AoE protection on the party of about 20%. So that is really great for for helping a party survive, I should say. Now from there, one of my favorite abilities, this ability I absolutely love, is a multi-turn heal. And this is one of the things that really makes Aerith stand out. A lot of people say that she is a jack of all trades, that doesn't do anything particularly interesting or new. And I say that this ability is essentially new, because regens are normally smaller amounts of HP, where this is essentially 2-turn full heal. Both turns being incredibly strong healing, so I love this ability, and it is one of the key abilities that are shown on the screen as well. Now from there, the two other abilities I really like are not that one, but her 299 MP ones. First of all, this one just gives a 100% auto revive on the character with 100% HP for 3 turns, and removes stop as well as charm. This is incredibly important because just having a single target stop and charm remove is valuable, because some trials only target single characters with stop or charm, so having this, I really like it. The other one just gives auto revive as well as a 1000 HP barrier, generally really nice. She has W casting in her kit, which can multicast a whole bunch of different valuable healing spell and healing abilities, so we'll show that off a little bit later. And last but not least, really, in her kit are her cooldown abilities. Oh, I should also mention that she, I think, has 10% natural MP recovery in her kit, so her running out of MP is not really a problem. Now, this one is not a featured ability, but sorry, wrong one. It's a different order from what I'm looking at. But this one for 150 MP is the other reset button in your kit. It is 100% HP and MP heal. Now it's on a 14-turn cooldown, so you will not be able to use this as a consistent button, but if your party is in trouble, this is a big friendly reset button, and it also gives extra HP and MP over multiple turns. So the rumor what people say that Aerith doesn't have any MP in her kit, her MP regeneration, that is true in a general sense, but she does have this. It's just kind of going to be maybe once per battle. Depends if you're focusing more on survivability in a battle and going the slow route, or just trying to burst the enemy down. Now her 99 MP, this one is her big attack, and we want to show this off because this is actually really cool. But it is an incredibly strong holy base attack that also debuffs for 100% holy resistance, and considering that holy chaining is a thing, and can be a thing in most trials, especially recent trials where the enemy is not light resistant, this is just a really nice ability to have. You can set up the previous turn, you know, her using some her double turn healing skill, maybe, you know, putting auto revive on the party or something like that, and then she can, the following turn, because the healing's already done, hit with this. If a healer is going to have the ability to heal or do damage, then they should still be healing that turn. So this essentially works very well in her kit, in my opinion. And her last ability is the 140 MP. Now, this one is the other one I was going to talk about. Basically, 80% auto revive on the entire party and 140% full buff to all stats. Love this ability. It is absolutely insanely strong for one very particular reason, is that it essentially provides really, really, really good coverage. And, that seems to be a bug. You can't swipe left on some parties. Not sure why that is. But we want to bring Runeera for a couple of reasons. One, Runeera is always really good at charging our limit burst, and we want to show off Aerith's limit burst. We also want to show off a whole bunch of other stuff, paying no attention to, you know, Beach Bunny Fina. Not super important. So again, double white magic in her kit allows her to use any of her double white magic spells, including her Holy, which let's see how much damage it does before the Runeeras get into this. So of course we have our incredibly long Holy spell. Fair amount of damage considering no killers. And that's one of the benefits of Holy ever since it was changed, is that, or changed in the game, I should say, is that now it basically allows a higher amount of attack from healers, since healers don't want to be sacrificing their spirit stat. Alright, so next we'll show off what abilities. So interestingly, she can double cast that heal and remove all status elements. She can use her stop ability in it as well, so it can actually be double casted in Arena, as if it wasn't necessarily nasty enough already. And it actually has the ability to use her Holy based attack, which is pretty interesting if you consider the fact that she can heal or set up her double heal and then still get an attack in a turn. So we'll do that, and we'll also set up some auto revive, because why not? So here's the first heal, as you can see. And we'll just get our Runeeras, charging some limit burst, hopefully. And at the start of the turn, we get a full 17,000 HP heal. Pretty damn strong healing. Now, we're going to run down our, or try to run down our MP. We seem to be having a little bit of trouble doing that, as, god damn it, my party's just too good at regenning MP. But this is the cooldown ability that acts as a giant reset button. So if we hit this, full HP and MP regeneration and multi-regeneration for every turn after. Now, Primrose is our buffer here, and she is going to essentially get us up a little bit higher for stats. As you can see, with that 200 well, it's not quite maxed out yet, but that 200% buff, we're looking at about 2,300 spirit. Pretty damn good. And we have one free turn. It's almost like I planned all of this. Nah, we just got really lucky. Let's show off that absolutely dynamite limit burst, which has absolutely fantastic animation to it. So now all of our party has been healed. They have been revived if anyone was down, and we have auto revive too. So it's generally just really strong protection for the entire party. Alright, so you can see roughly how much damage we are doing currently with our Runeera. Now we're going to get Runeeras ready here, and also to put in perspective what my Runeeras look like right now, neither of them are particularly set up to do a hell of a lot of damage. The equipment is just elsewhere currently, so c'est la vie. But, as you can see, by using our ability, we can actually do that Holy attack while still healing, which kind of makes her Holy attack potentially really good. So, let's do it, and we're going to try and chain it in properly. It's a little difficult. We gotta wait a bit. So as you can see, we did 133 million points of damage. Most of that was definitely not Runeera. But Aerith is capable of doing a lot of damage as well as a lot of healing. Her kit is very flexible. And one of the things of note is the fact that Aerith's kit does actually combine a lot of stuff from different healers. She has the auto revive of CG Fina. She has the some charm removal from Santa Rosalia. She has a MP reset button that kind of Volca has. because Volca can do that. And last but not least, she also has the stop immunity and stop removal that Ayaka has. She also brings some new stuff to the table with her extremely powerful holy attack, as well as some really good, strong buffing for the party. Her 140% buff is just really nice to have on turns when you're, who knows, maybe your buffer support unit can't use their buff every single turn, like Ignis. Then Aerith works really well in tandem with Ignis. Some of her abilities cannot be double casted, but some of them can, and that makes that very strong. Now, the only other thing I want to talk about, the weaknesses, she needs status immunity from something. Whether it's CG Fina's hat, ribbon, or the Super TMR of Rinoa. She essentially needs something to give her full status immunity. She cannot equip shields, which kind of is a little bit of a downside. I would prefer maybe having a shield than having to equip 2 staffs, so I don't have to equip dual wield, because she doesn't have dual wield naturally, nor should she. She's also not specialized. She doesn't have the elemental coverage that CG Fina has, or as many auto-revive. Well, that's maybe not so true with the auto-revive stuff. She can't provide stop immunity to the party yet. Probably will be added in the future via her enhancements. And last but not least, Santa Rosalia kind of has a general better debuffing, as can debuff for ice as well as holy for a couple of turns, and I believe as well Santa Rosalia's kit kind of just has a little bit better in terms of support for the party, though a lot of the terms that I'm using her I generally find just healing anyway, but Santa Rosalia's buffs are a nice thing. So what do I give for Aerith? What do I think of her? In general, I think she's probably the best healer in the game. She has a lot of flexibility in her kit. Her W casting can cast pretty much the most key abilities that she does have. She has auto revive, she has AoE revive, she has a lot of reset options for the party if anything is bad. But more than that, one of the things I think that is absolutely key about Aerith is that she works in a whole bunch of trials. She could be potentially used for her charm removal. She can be potentially used for her stop removal. She can just be used for reviving the party, keeping the party healed. She has interesting healing options for making sure that the party's really good, or giving the party HP, or, you know, making sure that you don't get stat debuffed. Aerith is probably the most wide-ranged healer that you could potentially get and use for a whole bunch of trials. Not only that, Aerith just flat out replaces Ayaka in Arena. For the very, very simple reason that she's stop immune, but she can also stop the enemy and still do a lot of damage with her holy spells. So long story short, absolutely recommend it. If you're a brand new person to the game and you need a healer, this is basically probably as you're going to get good as you're going to get for a while. Barring an Ophelia on a limited time banner, but even then, I think that Aerith will still be pretty damn top tier. And Ayaka just isn't going to get another banner up, really, and probably in the near future. So Aerith is a safe bet. For long-time players, if you're super invested in your healer, all the power to you. But I would still say that Aerith is an absolutely totally solid kit. If not for her TMR or super TMR, then just her kit in general. It's so strong, it's so powerful, it's very versatile, and it has probably some very long staying power, because she ain't even gotten any kind of enhancements yet. So that's all for now, and I will see you in the next review when we will be taking a look at Nanaki and the wonderful puzzle that he has presented for me, I should say. Anyway, see you all in the next unit review.